Perhaps you can just talk a little bit more about how you've picked the charities, because I know it's evolved a lot over the past 11 years, we'll say.
11
12.
years.
This is,
11.
yeah, 11 years. I feel like we kind of missed one in 2020 because we had the anniversary of 2019 where you hit the million mark, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then now you've been doing things virtually, which is also quite cool. But so this year, okay, well, let's talk about how you've picked some of the charities, and then we'll talk about what you're doing this year and where you're at so far.
Great. So, well, the charities themselves have evolved that we've worked with. I feel like there's some themes that have been the same from the beginning. And it was really thinking about how can we make a difference in the lives of families, and particularly where, it's focused on children, particularly where they might be going through a challenging time in life, whether that's, health issue or, not enough food on the table or things along those lines. Because for us, we really wanted to say, how can we make Damian's life be meaningful, those short 7 days that we had? And we want to do that through having an impact in the lives of others that might be in challenging situations. And so that's led us to a number of different charities, which I'll talk to in a second. But one of the other big themes has been to make sure that the donations that we're stewarding are able to go and have an impact in the charities that they're going to. And so the way we can do that is either by partnering with smaller, lesser known charities that just don't have the fundraising power that some of the really well-known charities would have, or because we have worked with sick kids. And, when we do that, it's find a project or initiative that isn't as high profile. And so instead of just going to the general fund, find a way to work with those larger organizations in a really direct and targeted way.
I loved the Blessings in a Backpack one. That was really
good. And so that one, we did that one, Blessings in a Backpack. What they do is they send kids home with a backpack full of food on the weekend, because what was noticed is that where there's food programming for children in schools during the week, many of those children go home on the weekend and they don't have enough to eat on the weekend. And so, as we think about, all the different privileges that our kids have, to imagine that there's a circumstance where someone doesn't have enough food to eat on the weekend is really heartbreaking. And we chose that charity in the year that Damian would have started school. And so I guess, another theme, where we can work it in is what's something that's reflective of what would have been his age and stage of life at the time. And, we haven't been able to do that every year, but where there is something that's a good fit, and that one happened to be that year, that it just makes it a little bit more special.
And also, it's just great learning. Like for me, every year I've appreciated what you bring to my attention. Like I hadn't thought about the fact that kids go home without food, or that might be an option, and that, their learning is improved when they're fed all weekend, which is just, it makes sense, but you just don't think about that option. Mm-hmm. So, and it was such a small amount to give a kid food for the weekend. So that's great. And now I know the past couple of years you've done a lot with Holland Bloorview. Mm-hmm. And this year?
Yeah, this year we're with Holland Bloorview again, and a few reasons for that. One of the other themes in how we work with charities, or how we choose the ones to work with, is making sure that the organization itself is a good steward of the donations that are generally provided by, the people that are supporting us. And so, that means making sure that they have good operations and good organizational plans, and, look at financial statements. But another way you can do that is by, being directly involved with the charity. And so I joined as a director on the board about 5 years ago now. And so I have, a direct line of sight into the strategic planning and what, the organization's financial position is, and all of those types of things that, can make a difference to how much of an impact your dollars can have in making sure that, they're using the money in an efficient and effective way. And the other reason we've done a lot with Holland Bloorview is they just do really awesome stuff. They're really making a huge difference in the lives of families of children who have complex medical issues. And in some cases, these are disabilities that children are born with. Other instances, it could be something that's acquired because of an accident or an illness that a child has, or, there's some real incredible stories that I've heard in my time there of, children who, as far as family knows, are perfectly healthy, and, they're 9 or 10 years old and suddenly they're not, because they're stricken with a an unexpected, disease or condition, and that really changes the course of their life. And it's not just the child, it's also the family and the impact that it has on the family. And, the type of research that Holland Bloorview has been able to do, really targeted at some of these more complex medical issues is really incredible. And we're very happy to be supporting them.
And this year it's for a playground, right?
That's right. Yeah. So Holland Bloorview has been going through a big expansion over the last couple of years. And as part of that, they have added a playground to the property. The hospital itself, it does have, it has a lot of outpatients, but it does have inpatients as well. And they're also very sensitive to what do the siblings of kids do whose parents have to bring them with them when they come for treatment. And so the playground that's being added on the Holland Bloorview property is what's known as it's an accessible playground. And it's being constructed in a way where it can be used by, both fully able children and children with a range of different disabilities. And you build in all those features at the outset so that it's just much more functional for both of those needs. And so it can serve the community, it can serve the children that are clients of Holland Bloorview, and it can serve the families and siblings of children who are clients at Holland Bloorview. And so you can just really get a big impact from, who the user base is. And I think we can all appreciate over the last 18 months the value of outdoor activity. And being able to have something like that on the hospital property is going to, make a really big difference.
And speaking of impact, you guys have a great opportunity this year because you have 2 sponsors.
That's right. So we've been super fortunate to have some riders in our virtual and physical and other years Peloton who work at Macquarie, and Macquarie has a very generous matching program for its employees who get involved with fundraising. And so people that are donating through DAMIAN'S campaign, because of JD, Terry, and Taylor on our team, we are able to access some great matching through the Macquarie Foundation. And then as we were putting this year's campaign together, Holland Bloorview let me know that they have an anonymous capital campaign donor who is matching all donations that come into the capital campaign, which the playground falls under. And so, we're targeting to raise $250,000 directly this year, but then that will be matched by the capital campaign donor to make the campaign's impact this year $500,000, which will be the biggest campaign that we've had yet. So we're really excited about that.
Which is just amazing. And I know I've mentioned it before, but you guys have raised over $1 million in the past 11 years. So you're 12 now. Yeah.
Yeah. We're even, I think we're over 1.6 as of
even
year.
more. Yeah. Okay.
So,
and also for people, if you didn't catch my first video, this is something that Lindsay and her husband started in 2010. So the fact that they have come this far and raised so much and have, all this extra sponsorship and that you're a part of the board there is just amazing. And I'm truly touched by it. So
no, well, and thank you, Jenny. I mean, you've been a big supporter, and even, what you're doing here to try to get the word out. And it wouldn't have been possible with hundreds of people that have very generously supported us each and every year of the last 11 years. So it's, we had an idea, but a lot of people rallied around us to really bring it to life and keep it going.
All right. Well, I know we both have
now we're both crying.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this year. And I think it's awesome. And I'm just so excited about what Holland Bloorview is doing as well. So we have to stop.
Thanks a lot, Jenny.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.